Hi, I'm James Quillian. I am an economist. I write a blog called Fantasy Free Economics. At Fantasy Free Economics, I routinely explain all economic and political issues in just a few sentences. I can do that because I practice fantasy-free thinking. I'm always in touch with reality while other economists view the world through the prism of fantasy. Being armed only with erroneous assumptions and convenient notions, they have no chance of being right about much of anything. Today, I'm going to teach you how Americans are trained to promote their own poverty. It is not just Americans. People all over the globe are impoverishing themselves every day of their lives, and it doesn't have to be that way. Impoverishing oneself starts with denying that the world is a huge game of dominance and subservience. It is unflattering to think that human beings survive by participating in such a brutal system. So living and functioning in a system of dominance and subservience gets replaced with various notions that help folks feel better about themselves. The system of dominance and subservience continues on whether people like it or not. With that one truth replaced with something more appealing, you begin promoting your own poverty. Government gets defined in many ways, but in terms of how it functions, government is where smart people go to get what they want. Being smart is necessary, but it takes political power and money as well. Political power and money are largely interchangeable. To the degree a person has one, they have the other. And with the basic truth of survival discarded, there are other behaviors that are relevant to promoting one's own poverty also. Many of life's notions are not actually fantasy, they are instinctive. When engaging in the aggregate, most of the postures people assume are instinctive. Instinctive notions are interesting. They are as natural as putting on a coat when it's cold. Instinctive or natural propensities played a role in survival thousands of years ago. One instinctive notion is to behave on the basis that government is like a parent. In our lower animal minds, government is treated like a benevolent parent. Citizens expect love and kindness to flow down from the top, but there is no love or kindness at the top to be passed down. Now, who and what do we find at the top? The top, in terms of government, is a predator's playground. And all through your school years, government has been alluded to as a good place where all go to be served. People in government are even given the name of civil servant, and they are deemed to be doing a good thing. They are assumed to have an abundance of the imaginary incentive to serve. Now, since the real world, which is the one James Quillian in Fantasy Free Economics operates on, is based on the laws of dominance and subservience, denying the basic laws that govern life leaves the individual person in the position of being constantly fleeced while thinking he's contributing to the greater good. When in your mind you define government as something other than what it really is, those who know what government is for are pleased to have you promoting your own poverty. When you elect someone to public office, in truth, that person is not promising to be your fairy godmother. That person is pursuing his own goals and aspirations. Now, you see yourself as special, So you expect your elected representatives to think of you as special also. But you're not to them. You are their resource to the degree that you are useful to them. Fantasies and instinctive notions put you in the position to where you are a donor to big government. When you think life and government work one way, but they really work another, it is open season on you. Now, you may have noticed that when certain bills are passed by Congress, individual citizens believe they are getting something good just as they were promised. In fact, though, all legislation is for profit. When Congress passes a bill, especially a bill of the 1,000-page variety, citizens end up saying to themselves, "Good try, better luck next time." Take a close look at any of these bills, and guess what you will find? You will find that the bill that was supposed to help is actually a way of setting up skimming operations in a similar way to the way that organized crime does. So you would have been better off throughout your life if you were told the way the world really works. But government is always for profit for those who have the money and the power and the ability to manipulate people. Now, you may know that the upper 1% of the world's population is getting richer and richer while those at the bottom are getting poorer. Well, there are brilliant and resourceful people at the top of the economy. If it was through brilliance and ingenuity that they were making boatloads of money, I would be congratulating them and telling them to go out and make even more. Unfortunately, they are stealing from you by using government as a tool for fleecing the overall population. Americans and others around the globe really are trained to promote their own poverty, and as a result, they are continuing to get poorer. Now, I will close with a piece of truth I always like to mention. A complete moron who is in touch with reality is right more often than a card-carrying genius who lives in a fantasy world. A complete moron who is in touch with reality is right more often than a card-carrying genius who lives in a fantasy world. Now, fantasy-free is a tough life, but only in the beginning. That is because the system of dominance and subservience governs all life, even if you wish that it didn't. Now, if there's a question about economics, politics, or life in general that you would like to have answered, leave a comment. I'm James Quillian.